Hello, Parrsboro Community Radio listeners. Welcome to Exploring the Neighborhood with your hosts, Thor and Debbie, here on CICR 99.1 on your FM dial. We'd like to thank Kanza as the sponsor for our show.
For those of you who are not aware, Kanza is Cumberland County's only Careers Nova Scotia Centre and a vital participant in this area's road to prosperity. This year, Kanza is celebrating 15 years of serving the area and providing valuable employment and educational opportunities. Our goal for Exploring the Neighborhood is to take you on a series of half-hour adventures that include road trips, candid interviews, and commentaries.
We'll focus on the area's homegrown businesses, unique landmarks, and emerging talent. We're hoping to shine a well-deserved light on the local endeavors that promote eco-friendliness and self-sufficiency. In today's episode, we are going to deal with an alternative concept geared specifically to helping seniors
and the less fortunate among our community. Yes, we're talking money.
The root of all evil.
But money is required by all of us for those day-to-day transactions. Most countries have their own form of currency. There's precious metals like gold and silver, and then there are a few new forms like bitcoins.
And in most cases, the old saying, "It takes money to make money," holds true. Hence, none of these currencies really help the helpless.
My next guest wants to address that on a very local level. We are here in Parrsboro, and I'm sitting here with Dr. David Howe, who I have not met before.
Good afternoon.
I'm very excited to speak with Mr. Howe because not only is he a well-known entity around Parrsboro, but he is also the founder of a unique concept in this area.
Called Neighbors Helping Neighbors is the name of the program.
David, tell us a little bit about your life and how you ended up in Parrsboro.
I was brought up in England and I worked in England. I was a family physician. And we came to Newfoundland for a change 30 years ago. And then we stayed 10 years in Newfoundland. And then we moved to Parrsboro. I've been in Parrsboro for 20 years. And I retired from family practice 2 years ago.
And you have no intention to go back to Newfoundland?
No. Or England.
Or England. I've been to England a few times, and I've never felt that it screamed as this being home. But Newfoundland is a little different.
I didn't mind Newfoundland.
I didn't mind it either.
But we moved to Nova Scotia.
Sorry for anyone from Newfoundland, but the weather in spring is sometimes a little too much. And icebergs in the bay, that's also something that we could do without. So what kind of a family practitioner?
Well, I'm a rural family physician, so we do everything, including emergencies.
Oh, excellent.
We don't do obstetrics, but everything else we do.
And this is the perfect place for it.
Yeah.
I hope you left it in good hands because I still need a doctor around here, and apparently everyone says go to Parrsboro.
Well, I hope so. Yeah.
David, why don't you just tell us a little bit about how you got to this point?
What it is that there are a lot of people in Parrsboro and other places who could do with more money than they have. And the government does what they can. There's things like social assistance and guaranteed income supplements and so on. But my plan is to give people, seniors and people on social assistance, tokens or coupons, which we call Neighbors Helping Neighbors, that they can then use to, inverted commas, buy or pay for services from other people in the program. For example, if you're an elderly person that was shut in and couldn't get out and didn't really like doing housework, you could get someone to do housework for you, give them a coupon, and then that person would have a coupon that they could use to get a service done for themselves. So ideally, if things work out well, you would have a lot of people who wouldn't really consider themselves employable, but they would be doing things for their neighbours, getting some kind of reward for it, which they could then use to get services for themselves. And by using these coupons or tokens, they would save their cash, which they could use to buy whatever they wanted, groceries or medications or whatever.
I think that's a great idea. What type of businesses are involved in this? Or is this really more of an individual to individual?
There's no businesses at all. It's individual to individual.
Okay.
The coupons don't have a cash value. They're just a reward for providing a service.
So it's almost like a token for a favor.
If you like, yes.
That's excellent. Now, how would one get started with that? Let's say I want to help somebody. What do I do to get involved with that?
First I will start, if you wanted someone to help you, we are giving 5 tokens to everybody over 65 and everybody on social assistance. And when they get these tokens, they will fill out a form saying what services they would like and what services are available. So if you wanted to help someone, you would fill out your form saying what you were prepared to do, and then if somebody wanted that service, they would get in touch with you.
Oh, okay. That works out really well then.
If it gets going, there'll be a pile of such forms at the town hall that anybody can access.
And I take it that this is exclusive to Parrsboro, Five Islands area?
We haven't really thought about that, but it certainly, yes, to start with. I would anticipate that in a place like this where most people know most people, people will sort of talk among themselves rather than formally apply. I would imagine it to be a fairly informal process, but there will be these forms available at the town hall.
Are they available now, or is this a future project that you're trying to get up?
It's had a very low take-up so far. So although we've tried to publicise it fairly widely, we haven't got many people taking it up. And we've given quite a few of these coupons out, and they have been used a couple of times, but that's about all.
One question I have, how many churches are involved and how many more are you going to get involved?
We haven't involved the churches. To be honest, we didn't think of it, but it's a good idea.
Churches, they do have a system built in already to a certain extent. A lot of them are involved with charity organizations, and they are part of the community. They may not have all the younger people that they used to have. Are there a lot of churches in and around this area?
There are 5.
5?
Or there are 5. 2 of them are sort of sharing a building, but yes, there are 5 congregations.
5 congregations, yeah. So I guess within those 5 congregations there would be at least a few volunteers.
Yeah. Except that when the Anglican Church, they have a program, they give turkey dinners to people in need at Christmas, and we put these tokens in with each dinner as a way of spreading them out.
So it's kind of like a gift certificate.
Yes, to start with, but once you give it to somebody, they then have it and they can get a service done for themselves.
If we wanted to increase this, how would you see increasing the participation?
The problem that we've run up against is that most people who might benefit from it, I think, have already either got used to their circumstances, or they have friends and neighbours who are doing things for them either for free or for small amounts of money. People do help each other around here as it is, and there hasn't been a wide take-up in the community to expand it to what I'm suggesting.
Who are the people that do help out? And if one of our listeners wants to get involved, what are you looking for exactly? How do we jump in on this?
Well, anybody can help out. They don't have to even to be a senior or on social assistance. But a senior, for example, if they were a cook and they liked cooking, they could easily make 2 casseroles instead of 1 and give it to somebody who's not very well down the street, for example. And one of the good things, if this gets off the ground, is that people who at the moment probably don't feel they have very much to offer will actually find that they do. They could cook for somebody, they could sit with somebody who's ill while their caregiver goes shopping, they could take somebody to an appointment. Someone suggested that they could join them as a sort of prayer buddy. We have no control, of course, what people will do, but there's a great deal that people, seniors, could do and will be happy to do, and this is a way for them to do it.
I think it's a good idea. We were at a gathering the other day and ran into a wonderful couple. Mark hurt himself just before Christmas last year, and he can't get around that much, and that kind of thing would be perfect. He's an active man who wants to get around, but he's an individual that could probably benefit from someone just dropping over and hanging out and even watching television with him, or just something because he can't get around. Company,
and that's right. And to an extent that happens now, but this way it could happen more. And people, I don't know him, but Mark, for example, he wouldn't have to feel embarrassed about asking someone to do something for him because he has something that he can give them, one of these tokens, which has a value because the person he gives it to will then be able to get a service from somebody else.
Does everybody have to be a senior, or is this open to anyone?
Well, it's open to anyone, but once we give the tokens out, we have no control over what people do with them.
So a young 18-year-old who helps an elderly person, receives a token, can then turn around and get a free casserole.
Yes.
That sounds good.
Or he could give it to his elderly grandmother.
That's even a better idea. If you don't know what to give for the holidays, David has an idea. I like that. I think it's a wonderful idea. David, you were talking to me earlier about how they work things in Japan, and that seemed to be generational, not just for the moment. I'd love for you to expand on that and tell me more.
Well, the system that we're starting in Parrsboro has been running in Japan for at least 25 years. It has a Japanese name, and that is to do with care of the elderly, which is a strong family tradition in Japan anyway. But what happens is that if an elderly person needs care, they can pay for it. Instead of in Japanese yen, they can pay for it with these tokens, and they have a Japanese name. And then the caregiver, some caregivers are keeping the tokens until they themselves get old, then they use them. Or the caregivers can give it to an elderly relative who can then use them to get care. And that system's been going for, like I say, quite a long time and seems to work well.
I think it's a great idea. It really is a gift. I hate to use this, but a gift that keeps on giving. It just continues. And the idea of saving it too and giving it to people that really need, or saving it even for when you will need it later on, that's a great idea. Even more so, you were talking about what was going on in Barcelona.
Barcelona has a different system, and there are other systems like Barcelona, but the system in Barcelona, I believe, is that they actually print Barcelona pesos, which have a cash value equal to a regular peso, but they can only be used in Barcelona. So it's a way of making people buy their goods and services within the city instead of in the rest of Spain. And that's apparently very widespread, and the mayor of Barcelona is only paid in Barcelona pesos. So he has to buy his services locally.
If only we could get our local mayors to buy into that theory.
I think the rule is after 4 years they can convert them to regular pesos.
What an idea if all of our politicians were paid in Nova Scotia dollars.
Yes.
A wonderful concept.
And there are other places that have the same concept. I believe Pugwash has a similar thing, which they call the Northumberland note.
Oh, I'm going to have to look into that.
Yeah.
That's the first time I heard about it.
But that's sort of arranged really by the businesses, because that's a scheme to help the businesses. And my scheme is to help people.
The seniors.
And people that need it.
Yeah. It's a very generous concept, and I like that.
Governments do something, but they don't print money. I'm essentially printing money. It's not money, but what I'm printing is freeing people to use money up for other things. And governments will print money to help out banks or General Motors, but they don't print money to help poor people. And that's what I'm doing.
And that system actually changed. I was looking up Paul Hellyer's book. Paul Hellyer, for those who don't know, is a long-time politician who was once Canada's defense minister and Canada's finance minister, if I'm not mistaken. And he mentioned that in 1974, Canada stopped printing its own money, and ever since has been paying interest on our money. So we pay extra to get someone else to print it, and this is a wonderful concept where we actually print it here, and it's done within the community.
I say printing money because they don't print money. They put money into an account in cyberspace somewhere. And there
it's
it is.
The old add zeros.
Yes.
A one and many zeros. Yeah, punch it into the computer and there it is. Our money system has become a little bit hard to understand for normal people, I think. This certainly simplifies it.
I'm a little out of my depth here, but the banking system is basically designed to help banks, I think.
You may be correct on that.
Corporate greed drives government policies.
But before all my banks call and protest, yes, I still need you. Yep, for now, you are required. You were also talking about this system on the internet.
Yes, there are systems like mine. I believe Ottawa may have one, where the register of what services are available and who is available to provide them is kept on a website. That's where people would go to see where they can find someone to do what they want done. We haven't done that. There are platforms which you can obtain for free that will do that, but we haven't done that because I'm not sure that too many of the sort of people that I'm hoping to reach would use the internet that much or be that comfortable with the internet. And there's also a charge for that because that program has to be maintained. And the Ottawa program for sure has to employ someone to maintain that.
And this is much more of just a local helping your neighbor type of concept. Yeah. Now, for those people, because I know out there are people who want to either use the services or get involved to help. How do they do it? Who do they contact? What is the game plan?
Well, my phone number is 902-254-2346. And my partner's number, his name is Frank Hartman, is 902-254-2078.
So they phone you directly? Is there any other way to get a hold of you? Do you have an email or any?
I do. It's David Howe, Howe 282 @gmail.com. David Howe 282 @gmail.com.
David Howe 282 @gmail.com. Anyone who missed any of those numbers can always reach us at scotiaheritageproductions@gmail.com, and I will give you the information.
Also, if people keep their eyes and ears open, there will be meetings from time to time to explain the scheme and distribute these tokens. So that will be another way to keep in touch with us.
You were talking about the forms being available.
The forms will be of services wanted and services that you're prepared to offer. There's a pile of them at the town hall in Parrsboro.
So Parrsboro Town Hall, they can pick it up. I'd like to add a correction to the resume of the Right Honorable Paul Hellyer. Although he championed multiple financial reforms, was absolutely not the finance minister. But he did serve as Canada's defense minister, the transport minister, and even the deputy prime minister. And his latest book, The Money Mafia, is one of the most informative, if not controversial, explanations of how our financial world operates. He even includes a seemingly viable plan to reverse the current downward spiral. It makes for a good bedtime read, but for now, I think we'll focus on local issues. One piece of information that I came across on the internet.
Apparently, Dr. David Howe played the flute in high school and medical school, then let it lapse for some 25 years until he moved to Parrsboro. There he joined the Citizens Band.
Since he gave up his full-time family practice office, he has taken up the baritone saxophone.
And now has time to play with the Sackville Citizens Band as well.
This musical tidbit leads us into another part of my interview. David, we started talking music, and you revealed this wonderful thing that happens here on a yearly basis.
We have a festival of classical music called Classics by the Bay the last weekend in June, and we've had it, this year will be our 8th year. It's 5 concerts. There's a wind trio on Friday evening. There's a flute, viola and harp trio on Saturday afternoon. There's a violinist, Timmy Levy, on Saturday evening. There's a string quintet on Sunday afternoon, composed of people mainly from the PEI Symphony. And there's a string quintet on Sunday afternoon and a wind quintet on Sunday evening from Sackville, New Brunswick. And this year, the first time, we're going to have a very good student introduce several of the concerts.
How do we get a hold of tickets for this? Because that just sounds like a lot of fun.
www.classicsbythebay.com. You can buy tickets at the door, but you can buy them with PayPal or a credit card through our website.
Excellent. PayPal, one of our favorite things. David, where is this concert? I know you said by the bay, but...
It's in Parrsboro.
It's in Parrsboro?
Parrsboro. It's all on the website, or you may see a rack card in various tourist places. The Saturday concerts are in St. George's Anglican Church, and the Friday evening and the Sunday are in Parrsboro Band Hall.
And this is separate from all the other concerts that are going on in Parrsboro?
Yes, it is.
Last week in June, you said?
24th to the 26th.
24th to the 26th of June. Mark it in your notebooks, everybody. Go down to Parrsboro, enjoy some beautiful, serious classical music.
They're all professional musicians.
So I'm not invited. I'll be a listener only. I won't bring my noise-making abilities. All right, great. Thank you so much. David, I appreciate you coming by.
Thank you very much.
And taking time out of your day to come chat with us.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I was unable to find any information on Pugwash's Northumberland Note. Here's my request. Anyone with information on the Northumberland Note or other forms of local alternative community-based currencies, please contact me.
We did find information on other currency systems.
I'll give credit to our information source, the TED blog. First, Berkshires. They're only accepted in the Berkshires, a region in western Massachusetts. More than 400 Berkshires businesses accept the currency, and 13 banks serve as exchange stations.
Philadelphia is also trying out our local currency with equal dollars. When you sign up to participate, you receive 50 equal dollars. To earn more, you can offer your own possessions in an online marketplace, volunteer or refer friends.
Then this one has been around for years. and it's a favorite of Mother Earth News followers. It's called Ithaca Hours. It's another hyper-local currency usable only in Ithaca, New York. Its mission is to boost local economic strength and community self-reliance in ways which support economic and social justice, ecology, community participation, and human aspirations. Wow, and I thought it was just another form of currency. I also found an article about something called Linden Dollars, an online concept that's different from Bitcoins and Litecoins. Apparently this concept is usable within the online community Second Life. It can be bought with traditional currency or earned by selling goods or offering services to other Second Life residents.
Many people earn actual Linden salaries, some to the tune of $1 million Linden dollars.
Sounds good. To make this deal even sweeter, Linden dollars are easily traded for US dollars at an official currency site.
We almost forgot our favorite form of alternative currency. That's been a Canadian tradition for decades. Good old Canadian Tire money.
My dad has saved enough to fill several drawers. That might actually end up being our inheritance.
Keep in mind that there's always plenty of work to be done.
Every business needs help. Every person has wants and needs.
The only issue seems to be, how do we pay for things?
Perhaps alternative currencies offer that possibility.
Once again, the contact information for Neighbors Helping Neighbors. Dr. David Howe can be reached directly by phone at 902-254-2346.
There's also a website for David's musical events, www.classicsbythebay.com.
Okay, time has run out. If you'd like to contact us, our email is scotiaheritageproductions@gmail.com.
When it comes to local business, arts, crafts, and entertainment, we'll try our best to provide a global perspective on our community and remind listeners that where one regularly chooses to spend their money is often much more powerful than the occasional vote at the ballot box.
So, help out your talented neighbors and enjoy the unique diversity of what Cumberland, Westmoreland has to offer. And ultimately, you'll be helping yourself. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
So, tune in next week for another episode of Exploring the Neighborhood with your hosts, Thor and Debbie, here on CICR 99.1 on your FM dial.